Hey everybody, it's me. So I know that I mentioned how I was going to be doing a video about how us women, or like for women, can deal with BS from men. And I thought about that, and that really wasn't, I feel, the right thing to say. I was kind of told it wasn't the right thing to say. So I think the best way to put this would be what I want to talk about is how to deal with a toxic relationship in general. If you are in one or you just got out of one, even if it's been years like me since you've been out of one, and how to deal with toxic people and energies in general. And the first thing I want to ask you, and I really want you to think about this, is why you are in a toxic relationship. And sometimes we don't always know until we're out of it how toxic it really was. And maybe some of you men or women who may watch this can understand that. And also, a lot of people who have never been in a toxic relationship will not understand. They just won't understand. Whether it's physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, narcissistic abuse, it's all toxic. It's all lower vibrational energy, and there was so much more than that. Let me see if the lighting, if I kind of turn my lid up a bit, if that works a little bit more. I don't know. But anyway, I'm in the candlelight tonight because I love my candles and I don't like bright light at night. And I've always been that way, and I always will be. So not all these videos will be outside, but it's beautiful out here tonight. So anyways, let's get back to that. I want you to really ask yourself that question, like, why are you in it? What makes you feel that you don't deserve more? And when it comes to dealing with toxicity and being in a relationship with someone who's toxic themselves and dealing with all of that, it all stems from you. So it's like doing a lot of shadow work and looking in the mirror and realizing what your faults are and where that stems from. And what I've learned through my experience, and I will only speak from my experience, is that typically it stems from childhood and how you were raised and how you were treated when you were raised, how you were treated by your parents, how you were treated by your loved ones, your grandparents, anyone, cousins, siblings, and even friends. People who have been in your life who have affected you in some way, shape, or form, but in a negative way. And some of us have dealt with that all of our lives, and some of us have not. And like I said just a few moments ago, the ones who haven't, great. It's amazing. At some point in time, you're going to deal with toxicity, right? We all do. But for the ones, and I'll speak from experience, who have dealt with a lot of people who tend to have, well, they're toxic. Really, it's a tough one to get through, and it does stem through or from your childhood. So I want you to ask yourself that question and do some shadow work on why it is that you feel that you don't deserve more, because that's like the first thing. It's like the first thing that you want to, it's delving deep, right? And there's a lot of things that we don't want to deal with. We don't want to acknowledge, we don't want to take accountability for, whether that we feel guilty or ashamed. But all of those negative emotions and what I call lower vibrational energies need to be released. And I keep going from like my solar plexus out, so someone needs to work on their solar plexus, and I feel it. But anyway, so really, I hope that you will ask yourself that question and start writing things down. You can journal it. But it all stems from within first. You have to heal yourself. And it took, pardon me, it took me, and it's taken me 3 years now, over 3 years actually, to really become myself again, to be back to who I've always been to begin with, but even better. But it took going through that toxic relationship to become who I am today. And same for you. Everything that you've gone through in your past, any toxic relationships that you have been in, and even if you are in one now and you want to get out of it, and we'll talk about that in another video, because this is going to be like a series, I have a feeling, okay? But everything stems from us and from within, and how we feel about ourselves. And I've learned so much in the past 3 years or so, and it took me a lot of shadow work to realize my own, childhood BS that I had to, that came up, that I had to deal with, and that I had to heal. And it's a solo thing, right? You can have some friends that you can talk about it with, hopefully, and really, but when it comes down to it, this is a solo deal. This is between you and your higher self, and spirit and source, whoever you believe in. That's what it's about. And it's about you working on you first, and that will help you come to realize and come to terms with a lot that's going on in your own life if you are dealing with toxic energies. So I hope I'm not babbling and kind of like going from one subject to another, and maybe I am, and that's kind of a fault of mine. I do that often, but when it comes down to it, you have to have self-love, and you have to have self-care. And I know that I've talked about self-care before and how important it is to have self-care, and it really is. And everything that you do for yourself slowly builds your confidence within you. But when it comes to dealing with the hard shit, deal with it. Deal with it. So I'm doing this video at this time for a reason. And I don't even know what that reason is, but it definitely is for someone out there, not just me. It's for you. This is for you. I've been through it. I've been through it. And I know what it's like. And when you get out of a toxic relationship, and maybe for some of you this has been different, and a lot of women will get this, but it isn't until you get out of that relationship that you realize how toxic it really was, right? Not to say that we are perfect. I'm not perfect. There's no way on God's green earth that I am a perfect woman. I have many faults. I acknowledge them, I accept them, I embrace them. Polarity, right? Well, we all have polarity within ourselves as well as the outside world and energies. And so, but I can take accountability for that. And that's important. And when you take accountability, that's when you can start to change, right? When you acknowledge, you can start to change things within yourself and how you feel about yourself. And that just builds more and more confidence within you. And self-care, that's all self-care. Self-care isn't just about going and getting your nails done. It's about learning how to love yourself and realizing, wow, man, that relationship I was just in was really just effed up. And as time goes by, you have a lot of aha moments, and those aha moments are meant to happen for a reason, and someone's telling you that, look, you were meant to go through this for a reason. You were meant to go through everything you go through for a reason. So, I guess I want to leave it at that tonight, and I hope, like I said, I wasn't babbling. I hope this made some sense to you guys, but really, it's all about, the first step is becoming aware of your own shit that you need to deal with, stemming from childhood on up. And that can take a while. It's not an overnight thing. It doesn't happen overnight. I highly recommend journaling, writing everything down that comes up for you, because the more that you allow yourself to remember things in your childhood, deal with them, see them, feel how you felt in that moment, go back to it. The more that you do those things and journal down how you felt, the more that you are letting go and you're releasing that energy from you, and that's a wonderful thing. And it's beautiful, and it's what you're meant to do. So I hope that this has helped somebody get started, because really, I don't care what anyone says, it definitely stems from you, and anyone can become a stronger person. We all have strength in us, right? We all have the ability to change. I'm a firm believer in that. I believe that people can change, and for the better. And so, but we'll get more into the toxic energies and relationships, and I don't know, I don't think I can tell you how to get out of one. That's kind of up to you, the steps that you want to take, and if you're ready. But realize your faults and get strong. Whether you're a man or a woman watching this, just be who you were meant to be, and be that warrior, be that empress, be that king, you know, have that strength within you. But in order to have that, you'd have to deal with some shit, because we all have it. We all have it. And yeah. So ask yourself those questions that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Why you put up with it. Like, what makes you think that you don't deserve better? Because you're obviously in it for a reason, and some codependency is also, I just heard that. So I think a lot of you who are watching this have been in codependent relationships and know what I'm talking about. And they can be very difficult to get out of. I was in one several years ago, not with my ex-husband, but with someone else. So I know what that's like to deal with, and again, it's not easy. So we'll talk about that at another time, but I'm gonna let you go now. This was kind of like blah, 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 blah. But please, if you, again, I always say this, I love to read comments, like my videos, like my page, share it, whatever you want to do with it. But I just hope that it helps someone. And in my next video, we will talk more about actually physically being in that relationship, in that type of relationship, and the different types of toxic relationships that I have witnessed and I've experienced myself. All right, until then, take it easy. Bye.